Here are a couple of excellent Homo heidelbergensis paleo story stone face and mammoth effigies, and these were dug in and around modern-day Clacton, England, which is on the southern end of England on the Channel side. And the civilization there were dated between 400,000 and 425,000 years ago, and they were labeled Clactonians because of the location where they lived in ancient times, in paleo times. But these are wonderful effigies. We have a mature mammoth here that we'll look at in a minute with its eye here and its big hair tuft that's all been flaked away. And we'll see some faces that are not just inclusions in the stone, but have actually been flaked and worked into the stone to make the faces. And then we have the sloping back of the mature mammoth. We'll get into that in just a minute. This is a beautiful, beautiful, wonderfully done, flaked and etched baby mammoth image with its little trunk right here, its hair tuft above the head, and then it's got its hair on the back of the mammoth, just beautifully etched. And that etching was done by Clovis people here in the Americas. It was done by Neanderthals, early humans and Neanderthals. It was done by Homo erectus. It was done by Homo heidelbergensis, and probably goes back 1 million years, maybe a little bit longer than that. I have a wonderful Homo erectus hand axe that's beautifully etched on my YouTube channel and on my website, and I welcome you to look at that beautifully etched Homo erectus that was dated by a well-known anthropologist to be at least 500,000 years to 1 million years old, from sub-Saharan Africa. But these are from the Clacton region of England. And again, these are Homo heidelbergensis. So we have a wonderful, wonderful mammoth facing left. It's a baby mammoth. Now, when we turn it this way, now we have a great mature mammoth with the big sweeping trunk coming down to the right. Excellent mature mammoth. And then we have more etching lines there for the hair around the eye here. And that can be an eye as well for a mature mammoth. And this is the eye of the baby mammoth with all that hair etched right there. That hair's been etched. That's not flaking scars there. That's not flaking ripples. That's actually been etched into the stone. So the baby mammoth with its little trunk here, that's its eye, and they oftentimes put a lot of hair around the eye of the baby mammoth. And when we look at it this way, now we have the mature mammoth with its eye flaked out up here. And the hair is now, back of the mammoth, is imaged by the cortex here that they left on the stone. And then when we look at the faces, they're very cool. We've got a number of faces here. That's kind of a face right there. But these faces here are very good. This eye's been flaked out right there. This eye's been flaked out. And then we have a happy, smiley, young face looking at us right there. That's the younger face smiling. Then we have, when we look at it this way, now we have the older, angry face, if you will, with the eye, nose, and big nostrils here, and mouth flaked out looking at us right there. So the older face with the big nostrils. And again, I believe that if you study indigenous people in Siberia that live in Stone Age conditions, they live in their living quarters, they make their fires. So they breathe in the smoke for when they cook or when they heat their living quarters for their entire lifetime. And it enlarges their noses and makes them quite large. And even in Native American cultures, you see the younger Indians with the smaller noses and the older Indians with the bigger noses. And that's from breathing in the smoke in their living quarters for all their lifetime. Now, the lifetime of a Homo heidelbergensis individual might have only been 30 to 40,000 years old, but they breathed in smoke that entire time, and that's why I believe they image the big noses on these as the older face, and the more pointed younger noses, more aggressive type look for the younger faces, and the older faces have the big nose. When we look at it this way, now we have that mammoth, beautiful mature mammoth facing left. And we have the baby mammoth again facing right. And then we have some cool faces here too. Here's the eye and the big sweeping nose and open mouth of the older face. Maybe their nose got so bad they had to breathe through their mouth when they got older. And then we have the younger face with the nose over here, the eye here, and the younger face facing off to the right. Just a well-etched, beautiful Homo heidelbergensis paleo story stone. Now, when we get over here, that is a great, outstanding mature mammoth here. That's the eye. The hair tuft's been flaked above the head. And then we have the sloping back going off to the right. So that's the mature mammoth facing left. When we hold it this way, now we have a very cool baby mammoth with etching right here. You can see the etching lines right here. Here's the eye. Here's the baby trunk over here and the sloping back. So that's the baby mammoth facing right. Now, when we look at this, we have some wonderful faces that are carved into this as well. What we're going to see here is several images. We've got an eye here and an eye here and a nose here and a mouth here of a face looking at us. And that's all been carved. That's all been carved into the cortex. So it's actually been worked by Homo heidelbergensis. We have a wonderful face image there that's been worked into the stone. And then when we hold it this way, now we have very interesting faces here. We have two eyes here, an even better image here. Eye, and mouth down here, flaked into the stone. But we also have that other face that we just looked at, eye, and nose here. So they made a duality of faces and carved them in here. That's all been carved, all worked in there. That cortex has all been carved out of there to image the faces, eye, nose, and mouth, or eye, nose. And then when we look at it this way, now we have another face with this, the eye, and the mouth down below. So they made two faces out of kind of one image, if you will. And then we have another great mammoth. That's the mature mammoth facing right. And again, we have the baby mammoth now facing left. And even on the back, just like the previous large Homo heidelbergensis stone that I featured in the prior video, they flake this down to get to these inclusions for the eye, and the mouth down here, the nose and the mouth of a face looking at us. That was done intentionally. They flaked it down to those inclusions to image yet another face. Just outstanding workmanship on these two Homo heidelbergensis paleo story stone face and mammoth effigies dating to 400,000 years before present.